Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to the Ski Rex Media Podcast. I have been off all summer from the podcast. I hope those of you who are fans enjoyed a couple of the reruns. Maybe you saw something you missed. Maybe you saw something you've seen already, but you actually enjoyed it. I was just kind of picking things, thinking this might be fun, that might be fun. And I hope you saw a couple of good things, and I hope your summer's been going all right. But now it is time to get back to business as the season approaches. It is now August, 14th, 15th as I'm recording, but this will be out next week. It's coming soon. And I'm sure I've been promoting it on Ski Rex Media's social medias, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Follow Ski Rex Media. Very easy to find. Links are also in the various descriptions, both audio and video. And for the video version, as you can see, we've changed a few things using a whole different service here. I'm looking at my screen here, my preview screen, and you can see it. I got my name, got the little scroll ticker. That's something a little neat. And the backdrop changed, not just a plain white wall. So if you're a fan of the video version, that might be a little nicer, right? Maybe, I don't know. I hope it is anyway. And for the audio people, it doesn't matter. But if you want to see it, you can check it out. And I'll probably put up like a still photo on social media or something, or maybe I already have. Since I record, I don't do live very often, but there will be some live streaming. I'll probably call it the virtual opera party, and it's going to come along. And I have a couple of ideas, and we'll deal with that as we get to it. As the Ski Rex Media Podcast returns for season 3, and I hope you do enjoy the premiere. And although I do have some new things here on the wall, like I said, for those who watch the video version, and there is a new trend here. I'm going to be doing a lot more guests. I have a whole bunch of guests lined up. We're going to try some interviews. Now, I've said many times that interviewing is my Achilles heel, but we're going to try it anyway. But with a lot of new, we're going to stick to some tradition, to some old things. And today, I don't want to say old because that sounds kind of dicked off. But today, we're going to start with two of the original Ski Rex Media fans. They've been on the podcast before, both Scooter and Tech Rob. And we're going to talk a little bit about preseason, last season, COVID-19, new gear, what we bought, what we want, what we see, and a few other things. It really is just a bit of a hang with some street level folks. Not famous people necessarily, but we are getting some famous people on the podcast this season. But I like to mix it up. You know me, I say skiing is for everyone. Snowboarding is for everyone. Not just the famous, not just the elites, not just for racers or park riders. It is for everybody, and everybody can enjoy the way you want to enjoy. So this week on the Ski Rex Media Podcast, we start with some street level folks. And just before we get into the interviews, into the conversation, why not subscribe everywhere you can, or everywhere that you do? If you watch the video version on YouTube, subscribe to YouTube. If you watch it on IGTV, make sure you follow me on Instagram. Follow me across Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. If you listen to it on Buzzsprout, on Apple's podcast, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, make sure you follow, subscribe, whatever word they use on their button. If you do that for me, I would appreciate it. And again, links and stuff will be in the description. So if you're driving and listening to the audio version, don't fumble with your phone just yet. Wait till you stop. Please be safe. And with that, we will get into it. So here it is, me, Rob, and Scooter, and we're talking preseason and a few other things here on the old Ski Rex Media Podcast. As promised, the return of the Ski Rex Media Podcast with street level folks. Not some celebrity folks. Well, there's celebrities around here if you follow Ski Rex Media. Right in the middle, we have Scooter. How you doing, my friend, from the PA contingent?
Good.
And also good from PA. Dude, I've missed you guys, man. And from anybody who follows Ski Rex Media knows who Rob is. They know him. And if they don't, they should pay more attention. Tech Rob, number one hype man, number one fan. How you doing, buddy?
Going on.
In full virtual operator regalia, I see. I love it. I think that's great. Oh, and you got the highfalutin hat on, too. That's pretty sick. Shout out to them. Oh yeah, you both have it. Pretty good. We'll be talking to those guys later in the year, later in the season too, here on the Ski Rex Media podcast. So I think the big thing people are talking about getting ready for this next season, because let's do a little preseason. Everybody wonders, is it going to be like last year? Is it going to be shut down? Is there going to be the return to the lodge instead of tailgating? All this other shit. What do you guys think? What do you think it's going to be?
I think it's going to be, hopefully, business as normal, business as usual. The tailgate thing, I think, is here to stay. It's especially on the warm days, the nice days, sunny days. But I don't know. I kind of think as bad as last season, leading up to it with COVID, as bad as it was leading up, it seems like it's quieter now. But there's all these talking things going on that who knows. But it seems to me, I'm planning. I've already planned a week trip, first one. So I'm planning as it's going to happen.
Nice. Mr. Rob, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be as bad as last year. I think the tailgate thing is definitely here to stay. I think a lot of people found another way to enjoy themselves, brought them closer to their home hills. Using the car as a lodge, we all came up with inventive ways. I've seen a lot of things from full grills on the backs of trucks to the total tailgating thing. And I don't know. To me, I always said it's like the Big Snow kind of gave us the operating model for last year on how it's kind of going to go. They opened September 1st, and we proved that we can already pretty much survive the worst of it during winter. So lodge restrictions are never big to me. I'm not a lodger. I'm a skier, so I get there and I do it up. So like Scoot said, we already got one trip planned to New Hampshire. We're at Big Snow. I'm going there another 4 times in another 2 weeks. So getting ready for that, awesome. Starting my season. Everybody knows me. I'm in the gym, and so as soon as the season ends, I'm working out for next season. So I'm ready to get it. I was a Big Snow when I got to wet my whistle, and it just wasn't enough. So I got a stick pack, so I'm going back a couple more times.
Yeah, man.
But as far as the season outlook, I just don't see much changing from what it was. We may or may not have a reservation system. I doubt they will. But I think the whole tailgating and use a lodge at your car, I think a lot of people are going to stick with it.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I think, as you said it, we found a new way. It's kind of the old way. It's what it was years ago. And I think we're getting back into that. Oddly enough, with the tailgating, I feel like in a time of social distancing, a very social sport stayed that way. We didn't falter, and even though we were a little bit more social and I was in a couple of lines that were a little tightly packed, I don't think there was a single COVID case tied to a Vermont mountain. And I don't know if it was the same down in PA. But with that said, and nobody caught it that we know of, why even consider going back to anything restricted? I'm saying it's an open season. Like, it's going to be open.
Yeah, I mean, like we were talking earlier, before we started up, there's concerts and stuff going on with 20, 30,000 people present. So, I think, that's an outdoor activity. At least the concert that we were talking about was an outdoor concert, and people were kind of packed in there. But you can certainly social distance a lot easier when you're skiing.
Yeah, absolutely, and especially if you're a midweek guy. I'm a midweek guy. I plan my shit to be midweek, so I'm not dealing with weekends. I'm not dealing with holidays like Christmas. I'm getting up, opening what's under the tree in my rabbit slippers and going back to bed. And I mean, unless it snows, then I'll get out and check it out. But so you are prepared. I know that, Rob, you've been in the gym. You're getting ready, nice and strong. Scoot, you've been out on the trail, getting strong. Me, I'm doing what I have to do to get stronger. I think it's going to be good. And damn, man, you guys, for those who don't follow myself, Scoot, or Rob on social media, these guys did big old East Coast, well, I can't say big old, but pretty decent sized East Coast gathering at Big Snow. I love that place. You guys, I know, love that place. It looked like it was a lot of fun. I saw your pictures. I saw the videos. Brian from IG, who's not here with us tonight, wanted to be but can't be so far. He even brought his kid, dude. How was all that? Let's talk about that for a minute because the season's going to go fine. I'm going to end up talking about COVID and stuff as being part of the media. I'm going to be talking about it for months, so fuck it. But that looked great. Go ahead and talk about that. Whichever one.
Oh, it was awesome. So it was the first time I met Brian. We wanted to try to meet up last year, I think all of us, and it just didn't work out with the way our trips were planned and all that. So it was good to meet him and Brooke, to ski with them. And, it was funny when he pulled in the parking lot because he's from a very country area like I am. So driving into the city is kind of out of my element. And he was kind of dealing with the same thing I do when I drive in there. So that's the biggest experience of Big Snow sometimes, just getting there.
You ain't kidding. Like the last time I went down there, I had to go around New York. I wasn't going through it. It's getting there is half the fun for that place. What do you think, Rob? How was it for you?
For me, it was just awesome, we were talking about it for days before, even we were texting about it. It was just going to be an all-out good time. Anytime you can get, Brian from Ski Bum Podcast and Brian from Insta out there and Brooke, we were excited to meet them. Last year was really tight with the travel. So even though we did pass Berkshire East, we never got to stop there on the way. It was a pretty tight schedule because we did the whole, Indy tour thing. So,
yep.
And hit a lot of Indian mountains that way. Even though Berkshire was on the map, it's still quite a way off from Vermont and from New Hampshire. So, it was nice to just gather, which we haven't been able to do in a while.
Yeah.
I think the only gathering we did was just our normal crew during the season. I know we met up with Brian up at Elk from Ski Bum Podcast. Brian from Insta, though, was somebody that I kind of felt bad for because we didn't get a chance to meet him or Brooke. And this was our opportunity, to shred with them. And they just had an absolute blast. I mean, Brooke was just flying on her new 6-day skis. She was having a blast. She was doing jumps. She was doing everything. I mean, I almost pretty much just gave up in terrain park at this point after seeing her.
It's always the kids, dude. Kids are always, man.
Yeah, I thought, dude, she just kills it and rips it. They're finding, their little jibs and jabs across. Brian just went down the park, went up a couple of jumps. I mean, he was just in it. He was just having a blast. It was just an all-out great day. And the best part, was at the end of the day, everybody meets up. Brian from Ski Bum Podcast had to head back. But I think in that large of a group, we haven't been able to gather for going on, for all those months, 15, 16 months, almost probably 2 years.
Yeah.
And it was really nice just to see everybody gather, talk, be there without a mask skiing, and not to worry about a wet mask or changing it out or anything else. It was just great to meet up with everybody, and it was just an all-around good time. Everybody was just ripping and shredding, and afterwards we had some great conversations. And then, like I said, we went to dinner afterwards. We're all staying the night. So, I went back next day. Everybody else went back home, but I had a blast next day with Big Snow again. So,
go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but for what it was, I mean, this was really a preseason kickoff. It was getting everybody together.
What was really cool is after like 2 runs, because Rob and I had been there before, and Brian and Brooke had never been there before, and I you're always kind of like, oh man, what are these people gonna think of this place? They're ski Vermont, big mountains, and this is Big Snow. It's just a little hill, and they just had huge smiles as soon as I was like, what do you think? And huge smiles, like, this is awesome. I mean, it was like 90 degrees out, so
yeah, it was that day.
I mean, it was cool to see their smiles after the first couple runs.
I'm glad they liked it because, I'm a big fan of the place. I loved every minute I was there. The 2 guys I was with, really liked it. And one of them actually lives about an hour south in Jersey. He's one of my friends from Jersey when I lived there. And everybody seems to enjoy it. The only people who seem to hate on the place are the ones who haven't been there. who talk about how it's not real, it's just the gym, air quotes, and all kinds of shit like that. And it's like, dude, it's just fun. Like, if you do these sports for fun, which is what I do, I know you guys do it. Skiing's for everyone. And you do it your way and you have a good time, and that's what it's about. And I have a good time there, and I would have had a good time again with you guys. We all skied together at Black Mountain. And I want to, like Rob said, shout out to Brian from Instagram, because he did get shafted with the social part of skiing with us at the end of last year. Because like you said, you guys' trips didn't work out to get to Berkshire East. I tried 3 or 4 times, and then I called my season after Black Mountain. I was done. I didn't get out much last year, and I apologized to him. I was like, dude, I wanted to come down because, Indy Pass, Berkshire East, it's 2 hours from here, 2.5, and I could have gotten there normally. And he's at Mount Snow a lot, and I've been itching to get back there too.
Well, we're fixing that. We're for this season. Rob and I are already working out our southern Vermont trip. So that's going to probably be like the last week in January. So that's with Brian in mind.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Mount Snow, Stratton, Magic, whatever you want to do. Bromley.
Magic's the place. I think that's the one kind of on the bullseye that we really want to hit. To Magic on the Indy Pass. And then Berkshire East for sure as well. Yeah,
and those are 2 mountains, man, that you kind of have to know what you're doing. Like Magic, to see it doesn't look too bad, but the people tell me it's all steep. I don't know how true it is. I've never been there.
Yeah, me neither. I'm looking forward to it. I think I would have got there last year. I mean, I had all kinds of inspirations or plans or things I wanted to do last year, but just it didn't pan out because of everything. But I'm very much looking forward. I feel like it's going to be like a Mad River Glen type of vibe, something like that. Throwback Bromley vibe, something like that.
And I've heard that. And, again, I've heard the terrain is ridiculous. Go ahead, Rob, though. You look like you were about to get in.
No, you know what? Brian from Ski Bum Podcast was at Magic. Absolutely loved it. Old school. You got to hand it to those guys. They still limit tickets. They still limit pass holders. They still want the experience. Oh, yeah. That's what really wants, why I really want to get there. Southern Vermont, to me, has a lot of great places to ski. But Magic is always one of those places, especially with the recent improvements and everything else and the way everybody's talking it up. I got to get there. This seems old school, nice and spaced out. It just seems like a great day on the mountain.
It really does. See, Magic is interesting for me because when I was doing the bulk of my skiing, when I was doing it a lot back in the 90s, I worked for Mount Snow. So if it was an American ski company place, that's where I went. Killington, Mount Snow, Haystack. I was there because I didn't have to pay for it. I had to pay for gas, and that was it. And I had a Neon, so I wasn't using a lot of gas back then. But for part of my childhood, maybe 2 parts, Magic was closed. It wasn't open. I don't remember who owned it. I don't remember the history exactly, but the current folks seem to have it on lock. They have it locked down, man. They know what people want, and they give it to them. And they talk shit at Mount Snow and Stratton too on their social media. I got to respect that a little bit. When the paid parking thing came out about Mount Snow, they were giving them shit about it. And I was like, you know what? I'm with it. So I want to get down there too, which leads us to the Indy Pass. Now, the 3 of us, for those who don't follow Ski Rex Media a lot, we are proponents of the Indy Pass. We love it. To the point where even Doug Fish is coming on my podcast this season as well. So there you go. We love it. Now, it's got so many things. How many do you really want to try and hit? Are you going to try and hit them all? Are you going to try and get that over Gatlinburg this year? Catalooch down North Carolina? What do you think?
What do you think, Rob? I know you got some big plans.
Yeah, my big plans are pretty much start off at Ober Gatlinburg, hit Cataloochee, work my way up through West Virginia, and just keep working my way east. We'll see what depending on like the opening dates and everything else. 10 hours to Gatlinburg, so I'm really looking forward to go there. My goal for this season, without an Epic Pass, is to ski and break the Indy Pass record which I think someone skied 31 days on the pass. So
I
that's
think that's
2
what it
days
was.
each resort. Yeah. So if I don't break it, I at least want to come close. They're my goals for this season. I got 2 passes. I got my home mountain and I got Indy Pass, and I got nothing better to do but to waste my time going around on the Indy Pass. So
No,
unlike
that's
Scooter,
awesome.
I got options, so I don't have to have the Epic Pass. But my goal with the Indy Pass. I mean, some of the resorts I toured this year were just amazing on the Indy Pass. You have Cannon, you have Waterville Valley. I mean, anyone who doesn't get this pass just is I won't understand it.
Well,
There's
I mean,
some great resorts in there.
We're planning our trips around that pass. I mean, so last year we planned some of our trips around the Epic Pass, and this year, like, our trips are like totally centered around Indy Pass, and let's get it. We're staying up around Franconia Notch, which you can get to Waterville Valley and Cannon. J Peak's like an hour and a half up the road, so it's we're looking at central locations where we can just drive to the resorts, and it's going to be pretty sweet. I'm looking forward to it.
It's going to be ridiculous. Indy Pass is the future of the Mega Pass. It has all these great places, and it's amazing because of all the choices that you do have. Some people say, well, it's just 2 days. I'm like, yeah, but it's 2 days at a possible almost 70, including the ones in Japan. Were you all disappointed about the Japan announcement? I know a lot of people were. Not disappointed.
Yeah. I mean, if it would have been 2 Japan resorts and 2 North American resorts, I was more disappointed because I thought that we were going to maybe get something else on the East Coast. But no, it's cool that Japan gets to play with the Indy Pass. I think it's cool overall.
Oh yeah. Excuse me.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was disappointed just because it wasn't resorts that I wanted, but they never are. And they do the Tuesday announcement. I'm like, damn it, that wasn't my resort. But I mean, good for them. I mean, and good for them going international. I'm happy for Dogfish and Guinea Pass and everybody else for adding and going international. To me, it's a pretty bold move, but it taps into a new market. So, and introduces things for a lot of people. So.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they keep going. They start having things pop up in Europe, South America, if there are options, which I'm sure there are. I don't know about Australia. I think Australia's some of their mountains right now are locked down again. COVID lockdowns again. I think I could be wrong about that. I don't remember.
I saw something the other week, and then they're opening back up, and I think it's like kind of day by day.
Yeah, I feel bad for those guys, man. I really do, because their winter started nice. It looked like it was just snow, like not excessive amounts, but steady amounts, and it's covered, and they were ready to go, man. And it's just one thing right after the other, and they kind of get wrecked.
They had a short season last year, didn't they?
They did. Whoops.
Oh.
I dumped. Sorry, Rob. That was my bad. I tapped the wrong thing. That was on me. For those who are listening to the audio only portion, that was not going to matter to you. But anybody who watches the video, I just dumped Rob out like a prick. I didn't mean to do it, though. It was an accident, I swear to you. Yeah, their season got short just like ours. They've had to deal with lockdowns more than we have even. Like, the United States, and I figure most of Europe, we kind of just went with it. We all saw it, the limits and the reservations and these things. But like Australia and New Zealand have been playing it. If people catch the COVID, they shut it down. And that's the way it goes. Melbourne has been closed. The whole city's been closed so many times now, I think. I feel bad for them. I do.
Sure.
Not to get into the politicized or social aspects of the COVID-19, but I just feel bad for them, man. I hope they come out of it okay, and I hope maybe we can come out of it okay, and they can come play with us. I don't know. I've met more than my share of Aussies and Kiwis skiing over the years.
Yeah, that and just the Canadian border. I mean, it's still, we're still dealing with that. What's going to happen there?
If everything goes to plan, should be open. I want to get up to Tremblant this year. I'd like to. Again, I don't know. We don't know. We just don't know.
Yeah.
So I'm planning everything in the United States. Like I said, Indy Pass, I'm there. I want to hit J Peak this year. I want to hit everything with you guys. If we can get to Pat's Peak, I really like that place. On the Indy Pass, if anybody wants to take the ride up the Saddleback, that's 3 hours from me, but I would do it.
We're doing it. We're
there it is.
doing the Saddleback.
Yeah,
it's happening.
Dude, that place has such a reputation. And I honestly thought when this company that has it now picked it up, I thought all their ideas were just, I was like, whatever. You're not getting it done. You're just not doing it. It's closed. It's over.
I thought the same thing. I was like, these people are, they're not going to open this place. It's never going to happen. Yep. And they did it. And people showed up, all kinds of people.
They crushed. They absolutely crushed. Whoever ran that, pat yourself on the back. Whoever that was out there, pat yourself on the back, man, because you killed it. And now that place's reputation is friggin' ridiculous. Tully talks about it all the time. Isn't that him who does?
Yeah. I think he has a cabin nearby. They go up there a lot.
Yeah, man. I'm waiting for Indy to get Yawgoo Valley. Once they do that, you ski all of New England in one season, all 6 states.
Yeah, I mean, like if you're with the Indy Pass, if you ski 10 times a year and you live in the middle of Vermont, like, that's the perfect pass. Yeah, there you go.
It really is.
You know, really is. I mean, you could ski 30 days on that pass. You got to drive a couple hours, but I mean,
oh yeah,
why not?
I forget the exact number, but I have a handful on the Indy Pass that are an hour to an hour and a half, then 2 to 2.5, and then maybe 3 or 4 if I want to get like if I want to do the New Yorks, I'd have to stay out there. You know, it wouldn't necessarily be a drive out, hang out, come back. But even so, that's still not bad. And again, Pat's Peak an hour, Magic an hour, Bolton an hour 15, Suicide 6 is 15 or 20 minutes up the road from here. So where I live, and I say, you know, for those who say, well, I buy an Epic Pass because that's what I have. Understandable. Like, and we could talk about the Vail hate if you guys want to, because I've seen that place getting kicked in the nuts almost daily. And now with the CEO change, holy shit, people are losing their mind on that place. What do you think? Screw it. Let's go there. We love Indy Pass. We'll leave it at that. Go. Let's trash Vail.
I have Epic Pass because it's the only thing within 2 hours of my house. That's all I got to say about that.
Yep, fair enough. What about you, Rob? I know you love Vail.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's multiple videos of me setting my Epic Pass on fire at the end of the season.
Yeah, that was great.
You know what? They seem to take care of everything out west. They let their main mountains in the east okay, you know, and just maintain them, and then everything else rots that they own. To me, I don't have to ski those mountains. There's other mountains around me. Even though I like those mountains, I've been on them since I was younger, since I was 11, 12 years old skiing them. You know, Jack Frost, one of my favorite mountains, Big Boulder. But that's why I got like Sherry and Scooter. They all have buddy tickets, so
there you go.
Use the buddy ticket system with those guys. Maybe hit up around top of Scooter and Kendall and some people, but I just couldn't do it this year. For me, it just wasn't worth it. Frost still had no plans to fix the 2 broken lifts. You can't access the terrain from where you need to. And we all know my GoPro video and my fond of biking in alpine boots.
Yep. That was awesome.
I put that out there a while ago. Yeah. That was pretty much the last straw that day for me. It was the last time that I went to Jack Frost. But other mountains I don't mind so much. If I lived in New Hampshire, I would wildcat it all day long. Wildcat's an awesome mountain. To me, it shouldn't even be Vail owned. But there's been in the rumor mill that a group wanted to buy it. I hope they do. I mean, to me, it's not like any other Vail Run resort. That's just has a whole different vibe and feel.
Yeah, it is. It's a ski mountain or a board mountain, whatever. I don't want to let the borders out here, but there's not a hotel there. There's not condos lined up and down the hill. It's a place you come there and you put your equipment on and you ski or ride all day. And you might go into the lodge and they got a little pub up top. You might get a beer, but you're skiing it. greatest views in the East, from the mountains I've been to. And I've been to quite a few, and the view of Mount Washington from there is just amazing.
I've actually never skied at Wildcat, but I've heard so many great things, and I do feel like it, and not to openly trash Vail and what they're doing the Epic Pass, but you hear things. So in like Wildcat, you hear the rumor someone wants to buy it because they want to get it out of that stereotypical corporate run, whatever. And I get that. People are kind of getting sick of it, I think. And it does hurt the sport, those stereotypes. People think this sport is elitist. It's for rich folks. Granted, being rich makes it easier, but it's for everybody. And again, I hope they do get it bought out if they think they can do better for it. Don't want to see it fail. Don't want to see it end up like Jack Frost, And again, don't want to trash Vail openly, but you hear things. You see what's in the media, you see what they put out, and then you hear things from like employees, stuff like this, and you don't know really what's what and what isn't.
I feel like this is going to be a big year because they have a lot to prove this year. They they acquired all the places from Snowtime and that the other company that had Attitash and Wildcat and Jack Frost. I can't think of their name, but they acquired them, and what was that?
Peak.
Yes,
Yep.
Peak.
Yep, you're right.
They acquired Peak in 2019. So they were kind of in the middle of maybe doing some stuff, and then COVID hit. So we'll see what they do this year. I'm not giving them a pass, but we'll see what they do this year, and maybe they can turn that reputation around a little bit. I hope so. I hope at the end of the year, next year, I can be like, oh man, they're doing a lot, and they're a lot better, and so we'll see.
I mean, for being like the biggest or one of the biggest ski corporations on the planet, I hope they can, because they have some great places, man. I still love Mount Snow to this day. Like, it's always been, but that's like my home. I grew up there. I worked there, that's where I honed my craft. I was a much better skier back then. I swear I was. But, but I love that place, and I don't want to see these places ruined, but I don't want to see anything ruined. Like a lot of people have a strong feeling about, to tie this in, what was the company? Upstate New York. I can't remember the mountain that the one small regional place up there bought a mountain and shut it. Just decided to shut it last week, I think.
I forget the name of that resort, but
it begins with a T. I know that.
Yeah, there's like 3 around Toboggan or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
Toggenburg.
That's it.
Yes, yep.
That's it. Yeah, and like that's what I'm afraid of with the corporate run entities. But another reason I love the Indie Pass, these places aren't going to fall under those kind of things, into those kind of things, because they're on their own and they're great. Even if they're teeny weeny little places, they're really kind of awesome. They really are.
Between Epic and Icon, especially in the East, they have all the cornerstone resorts,
Oh yeah.
Stratton, Mount Snow, Killington's on the Icon Pass, Sugarbush. Yeah, those are the big ones. Now, there's so many great mountains in between all of those, but those are kind of like your cornerstone mountains where everybody seems to want to flock to.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
It's just I don't know if it's good to have all those big places owned by 2 people or ran by 2 people.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. It depends. We've seen it in the past. That's how the malls are run. All the malls in America are owned by like 3 companies. So they do all right. They don't. Mountains, I don't want to see it to happen. I don't trust it. I don't want to lose it. I just want something to be open. And I'll go back to the little Park Hill with the rope tow if I have to, but I like going.
That's a conversation. Rope tow.
I love rope tow. I'm fine with it. Those goddamn Poma things, those button lifts, those things kick the shit out of me. I don't know if I told this story. I think I told this story when I went to Big Snow last October. I went, like I said, 2 friends of mine. Now they have a button lift just to the right of the quad. Now I was getting myself ready. My 2 friends were already ready. They're both snowboarders. They go. They go try this thing. My one buddy, kid's been my best friend for almost 30 years. While I was getting ready, he did the same thing I did. He fucked it up 3 times and said, I've had it. And it just, I'm never doing it again, he says. I'm like, you know what? I've been saying the same thing for 20 years. I blew it at Killington 1, 2, 3 times. Done. Out. So he knows. However, our other friend, he did get it. And like I said, they were doing it on snowboards. So it's whatever. I'll ride the quad all day. The only problem I have with the lifts at Big Snow American Dream is the wall at the top. I almost railed that wall a couple times. So whatever.
You gotta turn quick.
You got to turn quick as hell. Especially if you have a full chair. And
Yep.
I sent my one friend into the wall like 3 or 4 times. Like, get the fuck out of the way. I'm like, it's not me, dude.
And if there's a bunch of people standing around up there, you know, you got to kind of maneuver around, and people might
man.
Like, why'd you come flying through here?
Like, I was just getting off the chair, man. I don't know. Maybe I should learn how to use the button thing. Dude, when you guys brought up taking that thing up when we were at Black Mountain, I straight up said, I was like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I openly admit my wimpiness when it comes to those things, and it is a long-seated thing. Rope tow, I'm fine with. The only rope tow I am even kind of hesitant to try is the one up here at Northeast Slopes, the little place just north of where I am.
I heard that thing flies. Like, it's really fast.
It's the fastest one in the U.S., and I've seen video, and you get a jolt, it looks like more than an average rope tow, and I'm like, oh my God.
That's another place I want to try out. It's like just rope tows only, but
yeah,
talking about nostalgia, like I'd like to try that place out someday for sure. A couple years ago, we were going to maybe go there, but they only operate with natural snow, and there was no snow. Kind of sits in the valley a little bit.
Yeah, it does.
No snow.
Yeah, it's a neat place. It's a neat looking place. I've seen it in the summertime. I found it accidentally, actually driving around, and it looks great. They're rope tow. They're supposed to have the best burger in ski in the ski world, so that's whatever. But it's great. It's only like $10. $10 for the day, dude. Like, you can't beat that. Yeah, it's only 150-foot vertical, but who cares, man? That's what I say.
Yeah. I'd try it.
I would absolutely try it. Excuse me, I needed a drink there. So we're all riding the Indy. We're all going to be up here. We all know traveling may or may not be a bitch. If they do put in the restrictions, and you can answer this if you want, are you just going to throw the finger to it, or are you going to deal with it? Are you going to follow it this year? Like, because people are getting... I've started to see that a lot more people this year. And again, last year I saw it. People were still coming up like it was a regular year. And it wasn't just me saying that. I have like friends who are in property management who said, nope, we cleaned and dealt with their place one weekend and they came back the next, just like it was a regular year. No quarantining, none of that stuff. This year, I've already talked to a bunch of people who have said, no, I don't care. Unless they have National Guard on the state borderline, I'm coming. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to come to that based off last year, because I don't think it's going to get worse than that, hopefully. And last year, I definitely changed it up. Definitely planned all my trips to New Hampshire because they didn't seem to be as strict. So already one trip planned for New Hampshire, but I'm planning one for southern Vermont. And one thing I did when you go into Airbnb, one of the options you can click is refunds. So if it comes to some ridiculous event that happens, that the places I'm looking at are refundable if they would shut it down.
That's good. Planning ahead.
I don't know. I guess I'm just gonna say screw it though. If there's nobody standing at the border asking for papers, right?
Yeah. What do you say, Rob?
You know my answer already. It's screw it. I'm honestly just kind of over it. You know, to me, I mean, you know, look, I play by the rules, I follow the rules, and I'm not going to sit here and politicize or do anything else with it. I mean, to each his own, but you know what? To me, skiing and recreation is an outdoor sport. I'm never in any high touch areas or anything else. You know, I'm always with a small group of people. You know, and if the restrictions do come up, then like Scoot said, okay, there won't be a Southern Vermont tour, but you know, or maybe there will be. But you'll see the pictures of it a couple weeks later. But
that's fine. No
yeah,
statute of limitations there. We're good.
Yeah, I mean, last year they were pretty strict, at the borders. To the point where cruising through Vermont to get into New Hampshire, I was like, oh God, and you see them on the side of the road, and you see those blinking signs they put up, and I was like, oh boy, they mean business. But then again, I've known people all last season that skied Vermont without an issue, so
Totally.
And didn't follow the rules, but went anyway and just said screw it, and but I don't think things are going to be as bad this year. I think with what we know as far as operating in that type of environment, I think resorts will do what they have to do to protect themselves. But on the other end, I think they know how to operate now, and I think they can only improve on that process.
And I agree. I really don't see us going back to that. I mean, being prepared is great, and that's awesome. Making sure you book, and that's a good tip for anybody this year, because we don't think it's going back that way. Most people in the industry don't think it's going back that way. But be prepared. Make sure you can get your refund. Make sure, you're good. Make sure your pass covers your own state. That way you're good to go. And if you can't leave the state, but I don't see it going that way either. I think we'll be all right. We'll be in New Hampshire. We'll be in Vermont. We'll be in Mass, Maine, friggin' New York, if I can pull it off. I'd like to get out and do the New York indie places, like I said. What I'm going to be doing it on, though, I don't know this year. I'm pretty sure you guys have already dropped some cash on new stuff, or at least new to use stuff. Anything you want to talk about there? New skis, boots, goggles, gloves, anything fun?
Well, I think the first purchase was a Ski Rex Media hat, which is probably in the mail right about now.
Say it should be on its way.
Yeah. So that was one purchase. I ordered a pair of boots.
Nice.
So they're coming sometime in October. I'll have to go get fitted for those. And I'm working on maybe buying a setup off a gentleman as well, who's
nice.
I think he's getting out of the sport. So he got some gear a couple years ago, and I might be buying his stuff if we come to an agreement.
Nice. Nothing wrong with already been owned gear. I've said that a lot. A lot of people I've talked to, well, not a lot, but some people have said, I would never ride a pair of used skis. I'm like, do you use a different pair of skis every day? No. I'm like, well, then you're using used skis. I'm fine. Go ahead, buy it from someone else. That's what I say. Buy it from someone else. Now, one of the reasons I asked, and again, this kind of ties back in with the whole COVID thing and what may or may not happen at mountains. Again, we don't think, and Ski Rex BD is not pushing the idea of everything closing down, but uphill became a big thing last year. Getting out your skins, doing whatever, touring, binding setups, all that, doing it. Scooter, I know you do it. Absolutely. They're back there. You can see them. I see them. But Rob, what are you thinking? You gonna try it this year or not?
I may. I may
Nice.
get set up. You know what? If I do see one, it's something I'm definitely going to look into. There's definitely plenty of places around me which I could just go out for the day on. I live near a lot of nature preserves and a lot of parks, so the possibility is there for these trails to be kind of backcountry and get my practice in. But as far as new gear, I mean, you know me, I'm all across the merch shops at all the time. See somebody launch something new, I'm in there. I did get the local Kendo 88s, so I got my rippers for this year. Got the blizzards with my rock skis, and still continuing with the Armadas. So I'm pretty happy with where my gear situation is right now. So the only thing I would be looking at is like a backcountry alpine setup. So I definitely got to check out Scooter's setup that he's got going on this year. And I was intrigued by it last year, and especially how light some of the gear is, which would only make sense for uphill. But I mean, I'm ready to branch out to something new. Besides slamming my head off of rails in a terrain park. So
nice.
So you might see Scooter on a set of Kendo 88s by maybe mid-January.
Yeah, I mean, mid-season there may be a pair up for sale. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. I am also intrigued by the uphill stuff, mainly because the mountains around here embraced it in such a big way. Like every place I went this year, there was more. There was not lines of people going up, but you saw a steady people going up. One right after the other, all over the place. Plus, finding out over the last couple of years about like Hogback Mountain in southern Vermont, how it's been closed since I was little. I think since I was like in grade school. Or right after that. I forget exactly when. Maybe when I was in junior high. But it's been closed. What I never realized growing up, passing it 5-6 times a week, is that there is a group that goes up and still cuts some of the trails back, and people earn their turns up there. I was like, that's awesome. There's another place in south of there. I can't remember exactly. Maybe Stamford, Vermont. Same idea. An old hill that closed down and people are still going up it. I was like, if it keeps these things alive too, I'm with that. I love history. We've talked about the lost ski mountains. Alpine. Rob loves Alpine. He's going to get it open if he has the opportunity.
I would have liked to uphill that over the winter. They ended up getting like 2 feet of snow like early in the season. It's like a 2-hour ride from my house, and we ended up having like a foot here. So I ended up staying around here and skinning some state forest roads and things like that. Old logging roads, part of the Tuscarora Trail I skinned. But I don't know. It's cool. I'm probably the only person around here that does it. I know the state forest ranger looked at me funny when I, pulled in. I asked him if I could, skin the hill and all this, and he's like, "What? Like you're crazy." Like, yep,
yep,
so, but it's really cool. It's fun. It's good. The resorts embrace that you can go and get some laps in. I know Liberty and Round Top allow you to, I think, skin like 2 hours before they open.
Nice.
So a lot of people go and they skin 2 hours before they open, get some exercise. And even after Round Top closed this year, they allowed the uphill to continue. So got some extra days in after the season ended there, just skinning.
It seems like a beautiful thing that comes in handy for so many reasons. Like you said, exercise. You can get those sunrise tours. I don't know how people are going up these mountains at night. Like, I understand the lights and everything and what you need. I don't like being out in the woods in the dark, though. So I don't know how people do it. Or it allows you to get things that, well, for instance, you guys remember this past season, Vermont got like a 4-foot snowstorm out of nowhere and just dropped snow. Suicide 6, it happened about a week before their opening day. I got there on opening day. I went there on opening day, and the place was cut up already. Like they groomed a couple things just to get it ready. Bye, Rob. Hope he comes back. But they groomed a couple things, but people uphilled it, and it looked like it had been open already for a week.
Yeah. There's certain places that have a following. Like I know J Peak has a following on a powder day. There's going to be many people up the hill ahead of you that skinned to the top and probably already took some lines through the face chutes and various other trails. The other year, Dad and I pulled into Middlebury Ski Bowl, which has a pretty good uphill following, and it was pretty cut up. Hey, he's back.
There he is.
So, and that's really what kind of made me kind of get interested in it. I'm like, okay, these guys are going up before the sun's coming up. They're checking out the sunrise. They're seeing things like, you guys know me. I love sunrise and sunset. Love catching it, catching pictures of it, and just being out there for that moment. So that was one thing that kind of got my attention with it, and I did that at Round Top a couple times this year. I think you could start skinning there at 6 a.m. and in the wintertime it's getting light at about 6:30. So I'm there at like 6 o'clock, starting up the hill, just because I want to be at the top to catch the sunrise, and things like that are just really, really cool. And just He said the middle of the night thing. You get out there, it's kind of dark out, but you're there all by yourself, and it's just it's quiet, especially in the woods in the snow. It's just so quiet. There's nothing going on, so it's just a pretty cool experience.
Being in the winter woods at night is definitely. I would suggest to anybody who wants to try it, if you are afraid of the dark, take a friend, because if you have an imagination, it is dead quiet. It is pitch black if you live in a rural area like here, but it can be beautiful. There was a time when I worked at Mount Snow, we weren't skinning up, but we worked at the lodge at the top, the Summit Lodge. That's where we worked. And sometimes we were there past sundown getting things cleaned up and whatever. And once we got done, you go stand out on the deck and you just look out and it's quiet. I mean, up there you hear snow guns, you see groomers driving around, but you look out over the valley, man, and it's a wonderful, beautiful thing. Even though it's pitch black, you can't see forever. Like from the top of Mount Snow on a clear day, you can see Mount Washington and stuff like this. But it's still, you're right. It's a beautiful thing. And to see the sun come up there is awesome. It's a wonderful thing. I do suggest that part to anybody.
As long as you don't come across bear prints,
We just have black bears up here.
I'm going up the mountain and I'm just like, well, I'm the only one that has made tracks up this mountain. So, there's come across some deer tracks and you're like, oh, what do you do if you see the bear tracks? Do you take the skins off and just get back down the mountain as quick as you can, or what?
I always say in the Northeast, we only have black bears. They're not so big.
Yeah,
400 pounds, 300 pounds.
Beat them with your skeet poles. You probably outrun them if you can get your skins off and back down the hill too.
Start screaming at them, throw a snowball at them. They're fine. As long as you don't see a cub, you're golden. That's what I tell people. I had one run. I was up hiking out around here early in the last spring, and I saw one, and it was hightailing it the other way. It didn't want anything to do with me. All I saw was a bear vapor trail. It didn't care. So, but you're right. Be safe. That's something I think we can talk about. Are we up in the safety gear this year? Just staying with helmets? Are we going to knee pads, wrist guards, mouth guards, back protection? Rob, you ride park sometimes. You ever thought about going to back protection or chest protectors, anything like that?
No. Stupidly, no. I've always been known not to make the best decisions, but I think it's personal preference. This year I had that twist in my knee. I could knock me out a week from beating scooter days on the mountain, but really put a dent in that. I think it might even been 2 weeks. I wasn't too sure how long it was, but it was one of those things. Had that happened later on, the New Hampshire trip would have been, it would have done. So yeah, I mean, you do think about those things. I do like terrain park. I do like to do a lot of jumps. So this year, I mean, there might be some more safety coming my way. There may be the hip pads. The year before, I really slammed my hip down on a box pretty hard. I think I launched the GoPro footage of that too. I kicked off to the side, kind of launched myself into the air. Yep. So, I hit the ground pretty hard. I played it off. I got back up, skied away, but that hurt. So I think for terrain park, there may be some safety gear that I'm definitely looking into.
Good.
I used to wear a mouthpiece and get all geared up and everything else. I kind of lost the mouthpiece. I'll just look like a hockey player, from the 1970s if, something happens. So I'm willing to take that chance.
That's fine. They got implants and stuff. They can give you whatever you need new now. It was it was my first year in a helmet. I had never used one before. I thought it was going to be weird. You don't even notice it after like the first 20 minutes, I don't think.
It's actually really kind of nice after you wear it the first time. You're not getting wet through the helmet. Like if it's snowing or if they're making snow or if it's raining. You're not getting wet through the helmet at least. And it's kind of like a hat. So you're, normally going to wear a hat anyhow, and you can open vents and such if it's warm out. I can't even imagine skiing without one anymore.
Yeah, even after one season, I say the same thing, and it was definitely warm. Like it kept, a couple times when I would take lunch, I'd take it off just because it was warm.
Yeah.
But I also had a fleece mask on too. Like, people talked about not wanting to wear the mask out there. I was like, this was freaking cold last year, man. I wore mine every time because I didn't want to play around with the cold. Can't take the cold the way I used to.
Yeah, the helmet definitely saved me this year. I dig my head pretty good. Really slammed it off the ground. And that took me out a couple days too. Kind of, light concussion. So, and some whiplash because I was wearing my backpack. And I'll tell you what, the helmet really probably saved me for some serious injury that day. Even Scoot knows I really wasn't right that day after it.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, you're skiing in the woods.
Yeah, I know. Telling a story from like 2018 how this happened, and it's free will. It's not friggin' free will on the east, so and everybody's looking at me crazy. They're like, "Oh yeah, he's got a concussion," and I'm just like, "No."
I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Helmets are real. I think I shared a picture with you guys from 2 seasons ago. I had that wreck at Wildcat, and I had a ski come up and hit me in the back of my helmet. Put a dinger in my helmet, and imagine if that was my head. So helmets. I was lucky. I didn't even feel like a concussion out of that or anything.
Yeah.
It was just that thing probably would have lacerated my head open back then. So.
I was the guy who talked shit for so many years because back in the 90s, early 2000s, they weren't around as much. And back then there was talk of which mountain or which mountain conglomerate corporation is going to make them mandatory first or which state. And I said, that's when I'll start wearing one, when it's mandatory. It's similar. You hear motorcycle guys say that I only wear it where it's mandatory, things like this. But this year I had no confidence in my abilities. It was my first time back on in 6 years, zero confidence. So I was like, I'm going to hedge my bet. If nothing else, maybe I won't get cut up. But yeah, I agree. I like it. It worked for me, and I don't want to give it up. I'm there. I'm with it.
It's fun. I ski with people that don't wear helmets, but you almost look out of place if you don't wear a helmet nowadays.
You do. I only have one friend who doesn't wear one that I'm aware of, and that was one of my friends who went to Big Snow. And I'm looking around, and he's like one of 3 people that didn't have one. And even with the limited numbers, there was still 100 or 2 people in there. I'd figure it seemed like it was pretty busy. And I was like, wow, you really stick out now as like a sore thumb if you're not wearing it. And then people talk shit, which I don't think is fair. Like, I won't trash someone for not wearing one. If you don't want to wear one, that's fine.
Same here. Same here.
Like, I don't trash anybody who's not wearing a jacket in February. Like, if you want to do that, go for it. I'm too old for that, man. I can't do that anymore. When I was young, I could have done it. I had done it, but I'm not doing it now, man. No way. So we're good on gear. We know where we're going. We're safe. We're doing everything. We're almost at an hour, so I think we can start going with final thoughts here because we have been talking about preseason and the gear we get. And I think what it comes down to, and it's something I'm pushing and something I want to push, and I've said it already like 10 times tonight, is that it's for everyone. I see it all the time. And again, even in skiing, and this actually is a bigger issue for like everything today these days is politicized. Everything is brought as a social issue. I try not to do that. I say it is for everyone, and I'm not going to look at you cross-eyed no matter who you are for doing it or how you do it. If you're doing it one time a year, if you're doing 100 days, if you are the best skier on the mountain, if you're not good, wear a helmet or not, park, big mountain, groomers. I ride groomers now. I will dip trees this year. I've pretty much decided I'm going to dip back into trees, probably do some glades, but as long as I feel confident. But I think it's for everyone. And for the preseason, what I want to say is that if you are thinking about doing it, get out there. We'll be out there. We'll see you out there. We'll shake your hand, man. We'll help you. Rob will make you a cheesesteak, man. Like, for everyone, right? Yes, no?
Lifties, everybody.
Yeah. Well, there's always like 6 or 7, 8 cheesesteaks left whenever he's done making cheesesteaks. So
Yeah.
we're handing them out. I think the lifties love us for sure.
Oh,
They
God,
love
yeah.
up.
Oh, they do. Those guys at Black, man, I thought they were going to cry over joy. And man, what a great day that was. This is something actually I want to bounce off you guys. It's something I've been thinking about. When you see people talk about a mountain, like they do a review, whether it's someone like me who's trying to, talk about a mountain. Is it good? Is it bad? And I don't think you could say good or bad necessarily because it's so subjective. Like people will tell me, New England is the best place. The Rockies are the best place. The PNW is the best place. The Sierras are the best place. Europe, Japan, Australia, whatever the best is. I don't think you can have a best. It's just too subjective. Now, to bring that to our day at Black, for me personally, that was a shitty day. But not because of the mountain, number one. Yeah, the conditions sucked. Yeah, I skied like shit. Yeah, I made that amateur biff about not realizing there was snow. It wasn't my binding. There was snow stuck in my boot, if you guys remember.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah, and that was such an amateur biff, and I couldn't stand up on my skis. Alyssa's like, do you want me to help you up? And I'm like, I don't even know why I can't get up. And I do know my knee strained, but that wasn't it. I just sucked. But the mountain itself, I won't blame them for that. That's on me. And I think a lot of reviewers blame the mountain. Like, because I know you guys and me too, with the squalls and driving in it and the shitty conditions, we had a fucking blast. Like, am I right? Like, do some people blame the mountain for their bad day?
Well, so that could be another hour conversation, maybe.
It really could. I mean, keep going, man. Keep going.
So you gotta set your expectations. So, that morning, it's so funny you bring this up because my dad and I are driving to the mountain that morning, and we're talking about the day and what it's going to be like. And I'm like, man, the conditions aren't going to be very good, but we're going to have a tailgate. Tim's coming up. We're going to meet Tim because that's the first time I met you in person.
Yep, totally.
So, you set your expectations. So this is going to be a tailgate day, and we're going to do a little bit of skiing. Yeah. And that's essentially what it was. And we had a great time because, if Dad and I were going there ourselves and not meeting you guys, we probably would have went up and taken 5 runs and probably would have went back to the condo or went shopping or something like that. Yeah. Which would have been a fine day as well. But sure. It's all set your expectations. You know what your plan's going to be. A lot of people that may not ski a lot or may not understand the sport, they think they're going to show up. It's going to be a powder day every day. Yeah. But it's not always like that. And you got to set your expectations and, also the resort you're going to, like Black Mountain. Black Mountain's not Stratton. You're not going into Black Mountain and walking into a ski village with little bars and little restaurants all over the place. So you got to do a little research and know what you're going. Do you want to go ski and then get a nice drink and a nice lunch in the village, or do you want to have a no frills tailgate?
Yeah,
which is what I prefer.
Yeah, no, totally, absolutely. Yeah, see that I've been thinking about that, like, because I read the reviews, and I did it for Bolton Valley. I had never been there. I grew up here, and there's just again the beauty of the Indy Pass. There's places that I heard of but never took the time. Now I've taken the time and kind of wish I had back when I was a teenager or in my early 20s. But like Bolton Valley was another day. The first day I went up there, it was an awful day for me. I fell and busted my ass, and I had car trouble. I was almost in 2 car accidents because of the snow, but it was an impromptu powder day too. Like, I did ski pretty well, except for the couple times that I busted my ass. I was skiing pretty nice, but powder can help, slows you down a little, whatever. And I was thinking about it. I was telling a friend about it, and I was like, don't think the mountain sucked. Because the place was amazing, and I did use my second day there, and it was a bright, sunshiny day. You could see all the clay clear to New York State and Lake Champlain shimmering out in the distance, and it was beautiful. It was freezing, but it was beautiful, and I explored the mountain, And I still have more to explore. That place is great. I don't know if you guys have ever been there, and anybody listening or watching, if you've never been there, if you can get there, check that place out. I can't give that place enough credit. I loved it.
Very cool place. Very cool.
So cool. But again, I was thinking I had a bad day, but that's not on the mountain. That's on my stupidity and my dumbass and, my wrecks, and it's just been something I've been thinking about. I need to get someone else's opinion on it because there's very few mountains that I've trashed openly. There's only one that I've said I really didn't like it. And I didn't have a good day. That was me, but I didn't like the mountain. And that was Seven Springs. And I think, Rob, you like that place, right?
Yeah, I like Seven Springs. Yep. I do like Seven Springs. Seven Springs to me is, one of the bigger, 1,000 vert resorts in PA. So it's one of the bigger, larger resorts. I didn't mind Seven Springs at all, but yet, Blue Mountain was the same way. And I just can't wait to stay in the way that Blues run. There's just something about, it's not that it's not in a bad location. I'm not going to trash it. I think certain mountains are for people, but like technology, RFID gates, all that stuff. It's to me how everything's routed on that mountain just isn't for me. And even for some of the people that go there, that I've experienced, just not my cup of tea. So you know what? I'll go to any other resort in PA, and everybody goes, "Oh, well, it's 1,000 vert." But to me, the day is what you make it on the mountain. You know what? I skied the 500 vert at Bear Creek and moguls and gone down their 50% slope and Sasquatch and everything else. And, and skied their icy chutes and done everything else. It made it a fun day. Cruise through the park.
Yep.
You know what? Meet a couple people up there and cruise all day and rip it all night, up until 9 and 10 p.m. on the weekends. Sit by the fire, have a few drinks after, the day is what you make it. Black Mountain that day, bumps and rocks and snow. That's what it was. We did get a nice cover from the snowfalls, but, it was a challenging terrain. Bet your ass it was. And I thought it was Scooter that day, and he made it even more challenging. I was like, what the hell? But rule number 1, never follow Scooter. But you know what, though? One, it was fun because, number 1, it kept me on my toes. Number 2, the terrain was very challenging. And number 3, with just everybody there meeting that day, the tailgate, everything else, the whole vibe of the place is just laid back and chill, and it was just a great day overall. Like, nobody was counting runs, nobody was doing anything else, nobody was trying to get any big vert that day. It was just like one big meet and greet, enjoy the snow, and that's exactly what we did. It was just, to me, it was just one of the best days up there.
And it was so much fun. I had a great time up there. Even battling, it took me a long time to get out there. It took me a long time to get back too, and I went a completely different way and still found more squalls. The friggin' squalls stopped when I got 20 minutes from here, and it was bright, sunshiny day. I was like, well, that's awesome.
But it was a great day. You guys know I like to chase vert, so
totally.
I do count my vert, but on that day, I wasn't. I was just chilling today, having a good day. And those are many of the better days of the year, even though I love the high vert days.
Yeah, and I agree. And I 100% agree. And to Rob's other point, and what I was saying about being subjective, it's great that you brought up Blue Mountain down there in PA, because I liked that place the day I went. I went many years ago, and I actually ended up going by myself. And I had a good day there. But I think I was intrigued by the fact that don't some people call places like that the upside down mountain, where like the parking lot and everything is actually at the top? Yep. That kind of blew my mind. That actually threw me off. I thought I was lost.
They have an upper parking and a lower parking.
Yeah.
See, I like Blue. I like it. And I know what Rob's talking about. They have about 200 feet of vert at the bottom of the mountain.
Like that. Yeah.
It's just kind of like a run out. It's there to kind of make the lift probably that long to make the mountain 1,000 vertical. But I like it on a weekday. I definitely avoid it on the weekends because it gets very crowded. But I like the fast lift. I don't like the gates that they have that Rob was talking about. I'm with them on that. But I would definitely drive past it and go to Elk though.
There you go. And again, that's what I was saying. It's such a subjective thing. Like, I tell people for a long time, I was telling people Camelback's one of my favorite places to go, and people look at me cross-eyed like it's like 1,000 foot if that, or whatever it is. I can't remember offhand. But I was like, yeah, but it's just a cool place. But it's another one of those places that's full of city people on the weekend, which is fine. I have nothing against city people. There's just everybody descends on the place because it's only 3 hours from New York and 3 hours from where I lived in New Jersey. And a lot of, on I went up there on on what turned out to be a holiday, I think. And I ended up following people all the way from where I lived in New Jersey all the way out to Camelback. So it's like, holy shit. And there were so many people out there.
Well, you got Shawnee. We got to give a little shout out to Shawnee. We haven't talked about that on the Indy Pass, so it's Shawnee in that area too.
I'd like to get down there. I never got to do that when I was down there. That
cool
place.
Mountain. Very cool mountain.
Yeah, I want to get down there. And like I said, Indy Tour, and like I said, if you want to understand the real idea of how I say that, it's don't say something's the best because you can't say it's the best. It's your favorite. I tell people, like, it's your favorite. You can't tell me why, because all you told me was that you like the fact that they have 5-star hotels, hot tubs, fancy restaurants and shit like this. I mean, when it comes down to it, for instance, like Magic is on the Indy Pass, Stratton, you can practically see it. The snow is the same, and it's about the same elevation. Maybe Stratton has more trails, and it does. It has more acreage too, but it's the same. It's which vibe do you want, and which do you want more? That vibe or those amenities? The people who like the amenities think that's the best. The people who want the vibe think the other place is the best. Even though some people say it's a tiny little thing. I say it's a tiny little awesome. I have a good time. I could ski a farmer's field and have a good time, which I kind of intend on doing. I kind of want to do that bit this year. That's why I'm thinking about also getting the uphill set up so I can go to these farms and be like, dude, let me go tear your hill up just for like 3 runs. Give me 3 runs.
Weren't you trying to get that portable rope tow? What happened to that guy?
That guy, he was going to be on the podcast last year, but he was busy. Like, getting him scheduled was hard because that product was super popular. I couldn't believe how popular it was. Like, it wasn't like a 2-minute sellout for their crowdfunding, but they did all right. But they were established. Like, this wasn't their first thing. This was just a new product. And it was really cool. I never got to go out to meet him because he did say that, like, if you could come out, we could do something. But because it was in New Hampshire and I was trying to play by the rules as best as I could. Like, when I did go to Pat's Peak early in the season, I did my 2 weeks. When I went to see you guys, I just came back and that was it. But I was done with it by that point. I won't lie about it now. Statute of limitations. But yeah, I really wanted to meet up with that guy. Except that thing, it was a little pricey. I think the new one that they were selling was like $1,500. And that was a little out of my budget at that point. And still is kind of just for something I'm not going to use often.
Yeah.
But you're right. That's exactly what I wanted it for. I want to just call up people and be like, I've got it in the trunk. We're going to Farmer Jim's Hill. Let's go. And we'll set it up and just sit up there for a couple hours. Because around here, there's so many farms with cleared hills. And it's just such a great idea to me. I don't know. I mean, it's probably stupid, but I think that's awesome. I don't know. I'm different. What can I say?
I think it's cool.
I say even if you get a hill like that, it still counts as a day towards the 100.
Oh, heck yeah.
And I haven't skied 100 days since 1998-99 season. My last season at Mount Snow, because I worked in the evening, so I skied every morning, almost every morning. So there you go. So we're ready. And I hope everybody who's listening is ready. We're ready. Remember, skiing is for everybody. Don't trash anyone. Don't make anyone feel unwelcome. Like we said, and I think we agree, it's your favorite, not necessarily the best. And just because someone's just riding groomers, it doesn't mean they're a dick. It means you're a dick for pointing it out. Right, guys? Any final thoughts?
If you're having fun, you're doing it right. And if you're in control.
Yeah, if you're technically doing it right. How about you, Rob?
No, just, operate and ski. Try not to mix the two. If you do, make sure you know what you're doing. I highly don't recommend it for people who know my story from years ago. But, hey, look, just have a good time out there. That's all it's for. You don't have to be the expert skier. You don't have to watch these guys who double backflips, even though it's really cool. You don't have to be the best rain park skier. Just do it to enjoy it. That's it. I by no means, claim I'm an expert, but I've traveled a lot of places and I love it and I enjoy it. And you know what? And that's why I'm so into it. I just love what I do. I look forward to winter. Winter is my thing. And you know what? Just do what you love and make it fun. Just enjoy it. You don't have to be anything. You're not there to prove anybody. You're your own person. Stay in control and enjoy it. That's it. And know your limits.
Yeah, and know your limits, which is something. Actually, that's the first time I talked to Brian from Instagram. He suggested, "Can you do a Know Your Limits episode?" Because he was up at Killington with Brooke early season. He saw people walking down because it was just bumped up and ripped up, as it would be early season, and
And they tell you that on the snow report too, and people still do it. I've been there early season and have seen the same thing. People coming down out of control, and it's like they tell you we're open top to bottom. It's blue square, but it's rated diamond. It just kills me the people that still do it. But I guess that's how they learn.
Yeah, that's how you learn. Like, I went up early season there, but it wasn't that early. Like, it was fine. Unless you went all the way to the top, then it was rough. But, like around Ram's Head, it was fine. Well, speaking of Brian for IG, he didn't make it in with us tonight, which is a shame, but he'll be back sometime later in the season. We'll check in with these guys. Like he said, we have things going on. This is going to be the year social skiing returns, so I'm going to meet up with these guys. We'll do some Ski Rex Media bits during the winter live and in person, and that'll be awesome. If you see us, don't be afraid to say hi, man. We'll even hit you with stickers and shit. I'll get you with mine. I know Rob still has some of his. Skiing with No Filter. Was that coming back this season? Oh no, did he get booted?
He froze.
Oh no, during the plugs. Damn it.
Well, I got a Ski with No Filter sticker on this ski right
I see it. Look at
that. That's Pop Skis. This is 106s.
That's awesome. I have one on my computer, and I also am going to put one on my car. Here he is.
He's back.
Rob, Skiing with No Filter. Coming back this season? Oh, he's having trouble. There he is.
Ah, there we go.
There we go. Woo-hoo. I was echoing too for a second there. It sucked that we thought you weren't coming. I didn't think you were coming back for your plug. Skiing with No Filter. We doing a season this season? Beautiful. SkiingWithNoFilter.com for Tech Rob. Writes everything all original, #1, which is beautiful. And it's him. It's not watered down. It is literally with no filter. A lot of fun to read. He has a lot of good points, similar to some of the points we made today. He and I and Scooter as well. And Brian, even though he's not here, we all agree. And Brian and Mario from Highfalutin Ski Bums, again, we got some of their merch up as well. On the heads, not me. I have Peace and Pow. So check that out too. I love Peace and Pow. I should check out with Jumpin' Steve this season again. But Rob's stuff, really fun to read. Scooter is kicking around on social media. If you want to plug it, you can. If not, you can. If you want to plug there you go. Skiing with No Filter sticker. Beautiful thing. Scooter, if you want to plug your social media, you can. If you want to plug your brother out there on the AT, you can plug him too. It's up to you.
Oh yeah. So my brother's on the AT. He's at at Pack Professor. If you want to catch it, he actually went over Bromley today.
Oh wow.
So I'm at Sprint and Ski on Twitter and Instagram. Sprint and Ski.
That's right.
Following.
True, but that's all right. You do it and you're there. I do follow your brother, man. He's moving.
Yeah, definitely.
He's booking. When he came into Vermont, I was like, holy shit. Wasn't he like south of Jersey a week ago?
Yeah. Well, Jersey, New York, Connecticut, and Mass go pretty quick because they just kind of clips through those states.
True. It's really interesting. I'm really excited for when he gets up here because the trail goes right by here. I'm like 5 miles away, so it's not a big deal for me. But there you go, guys. Thank you for coming on. Hope everybody enjoyed it. Again, shout out to Brian from IG. I know he and Brooke will be listening to this, so shout out to them. I hope he's okay tonight. We can check in with him later, but he agrees with us, and he agrees on a lot of this stuff. But he is an epic rider, so that would have been fun if he was here to talk about that, but whatever. So I am Tim from Ski Rex Media, and for my friends Scooter and Tech Rob, thank you for listening to the Ski Rex Media podcast. Wave to the camera, guys. Awesome. Thank you, everyone. And there you have it, everybody. Our conversation with two of the guys from the PA contingent. Again, shout out to Brian from IG. He wasn't able to make it. He really wanted to, but he really wasn't able to. So that's okay. He'll be back. We'll see him during the winter, like we were talking about during the episode. We're going to be out there, and you'll see where we are and where we're going to be on social media throughout the winter. And like I said, if I can get down to big snow, I will be there before the winter officially starts. Now, you know me, I say the season doesn't end because of places like big snow, plastic hills, grass skiing, what have you, traveling for those who are able to do it, especially in this time of COVID-19. Well, this restrictions are much lighter in some places, so you can travel a little bit. But for those who can travel or grass ski or hit the plastic hills or the indoor places like Big Snow American Dream, the season doesn't end. So I've started to say that the season officially starts on October 1st. And that's the new season. So there you go. Take that if you want to, take it if you will, or pick your own date. Have fun with it. Do what you want to do. Let me know if you do that. Let me know if October 1st is good for you. As I said at the beginning, please subscribe and follow where you can. Leave ratings where you can. Be prepared because we're doing more guests. Next week, we have Tom Thrash, a New England skier who's been all over New England and different parts of the country and the world. We're going to talk to him about traveling to a ton of destinations. The following week, Abe Maynard and his the ski system, getting everybody into shape, getting everybody physically fit. We're going to talk to him about the ski system and about getting into shape. And later on in the coming weeks, we're going to have Dan Egan, Mike Rogie, Brian and Mario from the Highfalutin Ski Bum podcast are going to be here. Adam Jabber from the Out of Bounds podcast is going to be talking with me on this podcast. We're going to do some collaborations. The Alba family is going to be on from Alba Adventures, all kinds of stuff. Plus, I have more people coming up that I have to talk to lock down some dates. John Hunt from Whaleback Mountain, right across the river, New Hampshire, the closest mountain to Ski Rex Media HQ. So we have a bunch of good things coming up and a few other things that we'll get into as the season goes. Remember, follow Ski Rex Media Podcast, skirexmedia.com, skirexmediamerchshop.com. We might even have a few new things coming up for that. Plus the back to school sale, 25% off. Show your Ski Rex Media colors on campus. Right. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. #watching. And I will check you on the next one. We have a guest next week, as I said, Tom Thrash. Be there for that, and we'll promote it as best we can so you don't forget. I'll see you out there, and I'll see you on the next one. Later, everybody.